Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza, and welcome to Gramza Market Studies for Monday, December 7th. Hope you had a great weekend. Also, my tech team told me that a few people had some problems on Thursday viewing the video. First, my apologies for that if you'd had one of those people who had that problem. I think I know the issue, and that was I was flying from New Zealand through Sydney back to the States. I had to record that video in Sydney. When I was leaving New Zealand, the markets were still trading, and I wanted it to finish so I can give you an assessment for the next session. So Sydney was the time for me to do it, and apparently the video didn't completely upload before I had to run to catch my plane. And it was reloaded again when I got to the States. But for any of those who did have a problem, my apologies, and we'll do our very best to keep things squared away for you in the future. Let's talk about Friday. Well, we had a number of excuses that came out that the market did react to, but before we talk about that, let's talk about the week. And that was what a struggle. We were all week long, I kept talking about what we needed to have done. Well, none of it happened, really. We're finding sellers at these levels, and we need to respect that kind of behavior. Now let's talk about Friday's action. We had unemployment at 10%. Dubai concerns, I think, are finally washed out of the market as they should be. And we also saw a stronger dollar. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So what are we looking for today? We are looking for unchanged to higher, actually. We're looking for the market to possibly test these levels. The big deal for the NASDAQ market by the end of the week, close above 1820. The earlier we do it and how we do it are going to be the things that we're going to focus on. At the same time, we have a benchmark candle here that we're going to be looking at, but if you look at recent behavior, we have failed to close above this level where we found sellers before, and that's a big deal, and we need to respect that. So my perspective, I want to see us test that today. From the market action point of view that we're seeing right here, it implies unchanged to lower in terms of that action. But let's take a look at what happened in those currency markets and see how that fits in. The US dollar, what these red candles tell you in all these different charts is that the US dollar got stronger and these currencies got weaker. In the euro, this market traded back through that sell point. The buy point was down here at 49.05, and that difference was $1,312.50 a contract. Right now this represents a new buy point. In the Swissy, the same thing. Here's the original buy point. That was the sell point that the market went through on Friday. That would be $1,187.50. This is now the new buy point for that market. Japanese yen continues to fall out of bed, and we're looking for a smaller range in that market today. We are not looking for a big move to the downside. A possible bounce. Australian dollars did the same thing. They also traded through that sell point, and that difference there would be 140 ticks, or $1,400 a contract would be the profit on that. That's the concept anyways. Now, and we also have a new buy point there as well too. The British pound also traded back through that sell point, and that difference there would be $562.50. And the Canadian dollar also traded back down there. That's 70 ticks, or $700 a contract is that difference between those price levels. What are we looking for in these currencies? We are looking for a down move today, unchanged to lower, but not as big as it was before. And these are all at critical levels where we found buyers before. So these are not layup trades from the short side. We need to be cautious and respectful of the behavior we're going to see over the next 3 days. Now, let's move over to the short end of the curve and interest rates. Well, they fell out of bed, reached a magnitude objective, popped right back up. We're looking for kind of an unchanged day there in that market. The 10-year and the bonds, same thing. We're looking for a continuation of the selling that we saw, but not in a dramatic way like we saw on Friday. Kind of an unchanged type, sideways type move today. And when it comes to metals, well, gold did back off a tad bit, right? And as it came through that sell point, and that sell point was tightened up because of the way we were making these new highs through balance, and that's one of the ways that you and I see a change in direction. $3,300 is the dollar value of that move per contract. It also initiated a short position that reached magnitude objective. What are we looking for today? A relatively quiet day, actually, for this market to bounce back and forth basically unchanged. Same thing goes here for silver. We're looking for an unchanged lower. A lot of buying in this level. Again, I don't think this is a layup from the short side. I wouldn't be surprised to see this market start to recover before our week is out. Speaking of recovery, check out our friend, Mr. Copper. Here we traded through that sell point. Here is the buy point down here. That difference in that market was in copper was 13 cents or $3,250 per contract. That would be the theoretical dollar value of that move. And what are we looking for? We're looking for really kind of an unchanged day in that market. It reached magnitude objective here to the downside. It scratched the second half of that position. We are looking for a relatively quiet day in that market. I think it's unchanged to higher, even though this price behavior-wise is actually very bearish. Energy. Crude oil, well, the market's backed off. We're finding buyers, we're finding sellers. This market doesn't know what it wants to do. Saudi Arabia said that they're going to leave it alone for inventory purposes. Well, you think about it, Saudi Arabia's got what they want. They said $75 crude when we were back at $35 crude. If you look at Iran and Venezuela, they say $90 crude. So from OPEC perspective, I think they should be pleased where these levels are. Whether they should be up here fundamentally, I don't think so. But the fact is, what are we looking for? We're looking for basically an unchanged type market in crude oil. In natural gas, on the other hand, we're looking for a market to continue up here. The buying that we saw on Friday. Remember on Thursday I said, looks like coming into Friday, we need to be cautious here. Well, these buyers did come back in. Now, the issue we have not had in this market is follow-through, consistency. Can we see that we are looking for unchanged higher today? The difference between that sell point to that buy point in that market was $875 per contract, and now we're looking for some follow-through, but probably not a big range today. That would not be expected with that kind of setup. Grains, more of the same. We're looking for unchanged basically in beans. It's not sure what it wants to do. Corn, even though sellers came in with both hands in corn and wheat on Friday, you need to be cautious here. Part of it also is the dollar movement that we saw. That has an impact here as well. Well, this concludes today's market studies. I hope you found a few ideas helpful. Thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Looking forward to being with you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, take care.